Now, our next topic names balancing data and live observation. For years, football is about question: should clubs trust data or trust their scouts? The reality is that the most successful recruitment departments understand how to combine both. Our next speaker has spent more than a decade working at the intersection of football analytics, scouting intelligence, and recruitment strategy, helping clubs around the world make smarter decisions through a combination of data and human expertise. Please welcome to the stage Evgeny Klepov, head of scouting at Krila Sovietov Samara. Evgeny, the podium is yours.
I greet everyone. Yes. It's a genuine pleasure for me to be here today among many sharp minds in scouting, also other smart people from the football industry. I would like to thank Edward and other organizers for inviting to this great event. I would like to go back to my career because I started working in football in 2011, and that was Instart company. At that time, it was one of the world's leaders in statistics as a data provider. And I was there for a dozen of years until the acquisition that was held by Huddle. So I know from the inside how the data is provided. From the other side, I also had a number of non-staff collaborations with various clubs and national teams across Europe, and not only. Recent years, I served as the recruitment at a football club. Yes, it's Krila Sovietov Samara, it's the Russian Premier League team. So also I know what do people, both coaches, both sports directors want to see and how do they work. So for me, this topic was always close to my heart, and that's why I want to discuss it. So what we have now. Today, technologies are everywhere, not only in football, but in football also. So many great and magnificent statistical databases, some great platforms, so many things we can receive from that data. On the other hand, we still have some coaches, some sports directors who trust their own eyes more than something else. But anyway, almost none in the football industry now can deny data at all. So the question is, how can we balance here? And my presentation is more of a conversation on the philosophy of analyzing a player. I don't claim that I have answers, but and probably each of you have your own ones, your answers. But in my opinion, it's a topic we have to discuss. So, for example, we can start with international transfers. It's an interesting point because to provide a comprehensive international transfer, at first you have to assess your league, your tournament as an environment, and then compare to the league from where you want to bring the player into your league. So here we can see that probably there are some statistical parameters that can characterize the tournament, evaluate it somehow. That could be game tempo, that's passes per minute of possession, duels intensity, that is duels per minute of possession, PPDA, that's passes allowed per defensive action, that deals with pressing of what teams and players face in the tournament. So okay, we can try to quantify that. Let's see some numbers. So game tempo, duels intensity, and PPDA for some European top leagues and the Russian Premier League. As you can see, the Russian Premier League is on the top of all charts. It doesn't mean that it's the best league, of course not. But okay, we can see some peculiarities of the tournament. And let's go next to most popular transfers among these leagues. The most popular direction of transfers from European top leagues to the Russian Premier League is the French League 1 and League 2. But coming back to this chart, you see that League 1 is close to the Russian Premier League only in the game tempo. The other numbers don't tell us that they are similar. But here we talk about the balance, yeah? When we need really athletic players who can run a lot, who can go into challenges to provide the intensity of the game, we always see that players from France, they come to the Russian Premier League and they do rather well. Here's the list of the historical transfers. There were not only French or African players, there are some other European players. You can see some recent transfers. It was Gaetan Perrin and Douglas Augusta. Both went to FC Krasnodar. At that time, FC Krasnodar was the champion of the Russian Premier League. The first time after the era of many titles won by Zenit St. Petersburg. So Jacques Sivier from the League 2, he also went to Rubin Kazan not long ago. And also we can see that even some Russian players go to the French League and fit there. Alexander Golovin, Daler Kuzaev went to Le Havre. Matvey Safonov is at Paris Saint-Germain. Okay, he's a goalkeeper, but still. What's interesting, not many, but at least some of these players, you know, they are small, those who came from the French leagues. They're small, but they still have very good muscle mass. They are still athletic, and they fit us. So, can we see that from numbers? It's like, no, French league is not very close by numbers to the Russian Premier League, but we'll see that players from there come very often, and they succeed. So here we can understand that not only my message is the general message of the presentation, that we have a lot of data, but data can always deceive you. And especially when you have to make some interpretation of the data, you have also to understand that it doesn't always tell the full truth. And here I mean by live scouting, for example, not only live at the stadium, but also video scouting. That means everything that doesn't deal with analyzing data. So the interpretation of the data also should be done, in my opinion, by people of football who understand the tactical context also. Another thing about the peculiarity of the Russian Premier League, it's Ricardo Mangas, left back who moved from Vitoria Guimarães to Spartak Moscow. Now he's at Sporting Lisbon. In one of the interviews, he talked about the stylistic peculiarities of the Russian Premier League. You know, the player from the Portugal League, you see, it's much closer by stats to the Russian Premier League. But he tells about the force that are not given in Portugal, that are given in Portugal, not given here in Russia, he says. And also, the main thing, what puzzled me at first, when it comes to tactics, it's mostly man-to-man marking and all over the pitch. How you can quantify this tactical aspect, but especially if we talk not only about the tactical adaptation of a team, but of a separate player. And still this tactical context means a lot. So we can't quantify that. And one of these players from the league that by stats was rather close to the Russian Premier League, he didn't do so well and went back to Portugal. Another statistical table, you know, the best number 9 center forwards in the Russian Premier League in recent time. They were tall and rather powerful strikers who win lots of offensive and aerial challenges, both when building up attacks and when challenging for the ball, when finishing from the area after crosses and so on. Currently, it's John Cordoba, Colombian national team player, who's at FC Krasnodar. Earlier it was Artem Dzyuba. And we at Krylia Sovetov had such a striker, Ivan Sergeyev. We bought him twice and we sold him twice. The first time we sold him to Zenit, the second time we sold him to Dynamo Moscow. Both times we sold him with a financial profit. Take a look at his numbers. He doesn't engage in so many offensive duels. He wins much less than the best center forwards in the league do. But when it comes to goals, involvement in scoring attacks, he's rather close to the best, and he's one of the best forwards in the league. Indeed, he's the Russian national team player now. And it's not only about converted chances, like he has a rather high percentage. It's not only about scoring goals, because he's not small, but he's also not so powerful. But he's a very clever player. He doesn't even sometimes engage into a duel directly. He can pull away and just win the second ball. Or he anticipates all the stuff. So, again, we talk about stats. There are different ways to win possession for every player and also for a center forward. So if you are tall and powerful, okay, win it in the physical duel. But you can also create a second ball situation for your teammate if you are, again, powerful enough. If you even can't win the ball, you can take a smarter position maybe to earn the fall and to save the position for your team. Or be smarter, like Sergeyev often does. Just pull away, go for the second ball, win the second ball by yourself. Maybe sometimes just pushing the defender and going for the ball. Or taking the position correctly. Some quicker players, they can open up in a free area, get the ball and hold up and again save the possession. So, what we should understand here. If we didn't know Sergeyev from our local league, let's imagine, he will be missed out by statistical filters and statistical parameters because by stats, he doesn't correspond what best center forwards in the Russian Premier League should do. So again, here's the stats where they can deceive us. Another case, that's Alexander Chirkovich. I think that many people know him here. Yeah, we've bought him from Vozhdovats for 550K, and then we sold him to Bachka Topola for 1.2 million euro. But he didn't succeed in our team. So you see, I tell you not only about successful cases, but also some unsuccessful. Yes, it brings the financial profit to the club, but on the pitch in the Krylia Sovetov shirt, he didn't succeed. Look, the number of shots, the number of key passes, the number, more important, expected goals and expected assists, they're quite similar in the season when he was in the Russian Premier League and the next season when he was loaned by Bachka Topola and he was performing in Serbian Superliga. Okay, so he had the similar amount of chances near the opponent's goal. He had a similar number of chances to assist to his teammates, but the number of real goals and assists differs dramatically, especially 0 assists and only 1 goal in the Russian Premier League. And in the Serbian Superliga, he went riot. What to say, he's a great technical executor. He scored an Olympic goal, yeah, directly from the corner kick against Partizan Belgrade. Very gifted player, talented player, but he didn't do anything in the Russian Premier League. So again, by the stats, he got his chances. He got chances there where he used to perform, to execute, but he didn't manage to do that. And in my opinion, the most important issue for him was the psychological one. In a more aggressive environment, he didn't even do what he used to do well in Serbian league before and after. Again, for me, I wouldn't call that football cheating, but a small detail about Cirkovic. Even if you watch his goals for Bachka Topola, so many goals are scored when he's left unmarked on the far post, he's just up. Or, for example, he receives the ball in front of the unblocked goal, and yeah, he executes well, but he doesn't want to be engaged in the play for 90 minutes. And again, by stats, we can see that, okay, he should, what we see, he should have done well in the Russian Premier League, but he didn't. So we can't quantify it. And if we talk about psychology, also, we can quantify. And again, we watch videos of his goals for Bachko. Wow, great stats. But do you want such player in your team? Okay, some want, some not. But without video, you just take a look at stats. That's great. But moving on to tracking data, that's what we really should examine, because tracking data says so much about the physical ability of the player. And for us, luckily, in our scouting department, in recent years, we had some coaches that have a certain conception of how we play, some game philosophy. And generally, it's like we want to defend in a mid block, sometimes in a low block, but mostly in a mid one. And we want to go for counters, but not the direct counters, but some combination one. Anyway, at each position, we need a quick player, a fast player. So tracking data, surely, indeed, it will help you to find quick players. There are some tracking parameters that you can check for that. Peak sprint, speed, high-speed running, and sprint distance, both in offense and defense. That's important. Number of acceleration and decelerations. Many coaches think that football is the game of acceleration and deceleration if we talk about physical aspect, because the technique is like technique, tactics, another point, another aspect of play. Okay, so we can really find so many fast players that can suit us. But by this data, you won't see how does the player use his speed, his physical ability of running a lot and running fast. For example, so many episodes during defensive transition, when a player gets back to his own goal, he's running, he's sprinting, but he's just near his opponent who is possessing the ball, and he doesn't even go into tackle, try to block him. He's just running nearby. Okay, he's fast, but what's the purpose? For central defenders, for defensive midfielders. We have so many positional mistakes in these transitions. And of course, if we have the player with physical abilities to run a lot and to do that quickly enough, that's the material we can work with. The coaches can work with. Some tactical aspects, they can be improved for sure, but it will take time. And also depends on both on the coach, is he ready to work with that? Can he do that? Also depends on the player. Is he smart enough? Can he adapt to that or not? It's not guaranteed. So when we talk about tracking data and physical abilities of run fast and a lot if it's needed, if it corresponds the game philosophy, the concept of the coach, but at the right moment, in the right direction, in accordance with the movement of the ball, your teammates, opponents, and in accordance with the full team structure. These things, again, we won't see from the data. We can see only by watching video. There's a limit on foreign players in the Russian Premier League. Previously, it was 13 players in the squad and maximally 8 on the pitch. From the upcoming season, we will have only 12 in the squad, 7 on the pitch. Generally, for our club, it's not a great problem, but these conditions, these limits, It makes the demand for Russian players much more. We don't tell about salaries, about agents' bonuses, but that's also. But you have these limits, but the market, the number of players who suit the league on the local market, it's not getting bigger because of the limit. You just have more players involved, Russian players involved, but the percentage of those who suit, it's not that big. So for us, our club, unfortunately, in this period, we are not doing so well financially. So we don't have possibility to pay much, bring big salaries. But still, we have to find some Russian players. We have some in our academy, but not for all positions, unfortunately. So there could be some solutions for us, because we don't pay much. So even all other equal conditions, the player will choose a club of the same level, but those who pay more. Also, with top clubs, we can't even compete for the players, but still, we can monitor players and follow players who are playing in a bigger club, but doesn't make it into the first 11 regularly. Also, for some young players who are brought up in top academies, but for example, Dynamo Moscow, Zenit, St. Petersburg, they have the reserve team, they have the youth team. Many players they bring up. On that level, at the youth, we can compete. We can grab these players to our academy. Okay, but they are in Dynamo or in Zenit. Then they grow up a bit, but they can't do it also in the first team in Zenit or Dynamo because there are so great, powerful foreign players there, the best Russian players also. So it's very difficult to compete for the first 11 there. So. And we have, again, a problem where data can help us and where data can deceive us. For example, a player who's often comes off the bench for the last 30 minutes, for example, when the game is decided already. Did he make a real influence on that game? It's a question. Again, someone can just come up and finish the opponent. We had a player, a center forward, he scored 17 goals in 41 matches, but he was in the first 11 only in 14 matches. And most of the goals he scored after coming off the bench. Was he really good, or he just finished off the opponents when the game is not structured, when defenders are tired? Maybe someone have great stats, being irregular in his club. And on the other side, I know many players who not feel comfortable when they don't play regularly, only some few minutes. They are not in the game rhythm. Sometimes some players, they can't even perform well when they are coming on the bench, only in the first 11. We have such a player in our current squad. He mostly plays first 11, but each time he comes off the bench, it's like he wasn't on the pitch. Yeah, this is a problem. But again, how we can quantify it, how we can examine that by statistics. For example, that's always the complex cases for stats analysis. Here we can't do anything without doing with video scouting, because some may have no even valid data for examining. Some pad their stats through some actions in the very end of the game. For youngsters, another issue. At the youth level, a player has great statistics. You take a look, and he's just bigger and faster than all the other guys in this age group. Or a small, not so very fast, but clever player, he doesn't even show up on the statistical radars. Again, but for example, you take a look at him from the stands or by video, you see his first touch, his decision making, when he's under pressure or no, and you understand that that's the player you want, even if he's not on the statistical radars. So we in the club try to find the balance between data analysis and live scouting. Here you can see the transfer balance over the last 4 seasons. So we spent some money for transfers, but we did almost twice more earning from transfers. Unfortunately, we don't what we earn from transfers, we can't reinvest again because, as I told, we have some financial issue for many years, and we still have to fix that. Also, the transfer balance leaders in the past season were on the 2nd place in the difference of expenses. Only one team spent more money than we did, and for us it was also very, very difficult and complicated summer window previous year because almost a dozen players left. Some contracts were expired, some players were sold, and the coach's contract was also expired. We had a change of coach, and we had to bring 15 new players in the squad, like reorganize the team almost completely. And we spent not so much because we tried to involve free agents, some loans, but not only. And we managed to finish at the 11th place. That's the same place we have if you take a look at the transfer value of our squad. So we didn't drop down after this reorganization, but unfortunately we didn't manage to get up higher. So to make some conclusion about that, again, my message is that to find that balance and don't try to do anything with data. Also, you can't do without data. And the last point in the presentation, no talk today can be done without mentioning artificial intelligence. Some guys here also talked about that. For me personally, how I see it at the moment, it's like a great tool that can reduce time that we spend. Kevin from Nice told about and showed how they use the artificial intelligence. So many time is saved what you can do manually. The artificial intelligence will help you to spend less time. But can it reshape the scouting totally? Maybe in future, but for now, I doubt. And also, for what I see from different startups, some other companies that use AI in their databases and platforms, for example, what can be valuable? It's like the feature of similar players. I give the reference, and the system gives me a list of names of players who are similar. But again, they take age, maybe height, and some statistical filters. But players that have similar statistics, they may be totally different what you see on the pitch. And again, you can't do without live scouting. And maybe in the future, the artificial intelligence will help us, but still, in my opinion, it should be guided by a scout, especially with expertise in that, just to make the decisions and to see what really matters. So it's not like AI will throw away all analysts, scouts, maybe coaches later. No, I don't believe. And so with this life-affirming note, I would like to finish my presentation, and thank you for your attention. And if you have any questions, I am willing to answer.
Thank you, Evgeny.